Welcome to Celonis for the software development lifecycle powered by Bloomfilter, a purpose-built application within the Celonis ecosystem that enables you to better understand your software development lifecycle. In particular, we turn the black box of the software development lifecycle into something that is more open, observable, predictable, efficient, and nimble. As a CTO, you're put in your fingertips key KPIs and metrics related to predictability, efficiency, risk mitigation, as well as the financials of your operations. In particular, we can see that our overall throughput time has been decreasing over time, looking over here. But what we've been more important to notice from this overall graph is that the throughput itself has been decreasing over time. We can investigate what is going on there. We can also look over here and notice from an efficiency perspective what is going on with our average rework rate over time. Let's dive in here first and look at exploring the delivery. Inside the purpose-built application, we are able to look at it from a strategy module perspective. We can look and see what's happening from a delivery. As you can note, over time, the organization is getting further and further away from its target initiatives. More and more planned tasks are being added, and yet the performance of the team is not keeping up. What might be driving that? Perhaps it's looking at the area of rework. In this case, we have over 55% rework. Using our purpose-built application, we can dive in and explore this rework. Moving over to our Insights tab, we can see that our overall rework has been pretty significant. One of the areas, though, when we think about rework is we want to understand what is those drivers of rework. We can notice down here in our task type drill down that one of the areas that's driving up a lot of rework is something that has 0 points. This is pretty common from an agile delivery perspective, where individuals believe that they don't have to point a task. They don't have to do the work that's necessary in order to make an estimate associated with this value. We can dive in here and look at these particular tasks. Now, interesting thing to note is that we leverage a proprietary risk score along with our SDLC logic layer. This allows us to look at the individual cards from a product operations perspective and determine what is in fact going on. We can dive in here once again, look at it from a risk perspective, and get to a level of detail of insights on what is going on from an organizational point of view. We can pop over to our AI view and see what's going on. Our risk AI view allows you, as we're continuing to look at rework, to dive further and further into understanding what's going on. We can see, for instance, this task has, without any description for this unit of work, it is extremely high risk. The missing context may lead to reduction in work or misaligned efforts. Now, in particular, we can dive in even further and see what is the history of this work and take action over here to send an email to alert someone that they need to adjust what is going on from an organizational perspective. So as a CTO, using Celonis for the software development lifecycle powered by Bloomfilter, I can dive in and understand what's going on from a process execution perspective. Now, as we notice, this gap was occurring over time. But perhaps it's not just related to rework. It's in fact related to the execution of the teams. In this case, we can move over to our benchmarking activities and dive in and see a comparison head-to-head across our teams. So for example, we're going to look at this team versus that team. In this case, we're going to look at the main board in comparison to our BFK board. What this is going to do is enable us to look at and notice that our rework rate of our main board is significantly higher than our rework rate. This allows us to then go and have an intervention and have a conversation with that particular team to understand what exactly is going on. But if I want to get to a higher level of detail, in terms of a lower level of detail, I can move over to my Process Explorer view, which will give me my end-to-end process mining view. This end-to-end process mining view will enable me to understand where are my rework loops occurring across my organization. So we can start to see the craziness of my end-to-end process. Now, as a CTO, you're trying to solve a problem. You're trying to get your team to investigate what is going on. That helped us understand and investigate from a delivery perspective and a rework perspective. Alternatively, we can look at this from a financial perspective and understand what's happening to our cost drivers. We're able to take and map your costs associated with your teams and allocate it to the throughput that's going on from an organizational perspective. In this case, we can see that over time, what's happening from a commitment and throughput perspective. We continue to overcommit relative to our throughput and measure it on a cost per basis. Celonis for the SDLC provides an easy way of looking at it from a predictability, efficiency, and risk mitigation point of view. Please check us out on the App Store.